Okay, so on right now, I have Kari Estrin, who is a Manhattan Beach resident. So, how have you been supporting local businesses?
Okay. So local businesses. So I want to start with like super, super local and
Hmm.
like tiny businesses. The first thing we did is we told our housekeeper that
Hmm.
we really need her, but we didn't
Hmm.
want her to come and expose herself and expose us. We wanted her to stay at home and stay as safe as possible. So she is the first business that we've been supporting. We've been paying her salary for the
Hmm.
last 2 months. I just sent her a check yesterday for everything that I would be paying her for the month of May,
Hmm.
figuring that whenever life opens back up again, she'll come back and continue working, and we will just continue paying her forward. Or not, we would
Hmm.
consider the money that we've already sent her as job already done.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same thing with the gardener. We're still paying him. Um, and then as far as businesses go, or actually no, and then for businesses, like my daughters both do dance classes, and
Hmm.
they attempted to go online, but I think that with how many Zoom classes they have to do for
Hmm.
school, that the after Zoom class school calls, the
Hmm.
dance classes were just a little too much.
Hmm.
So they haven't really been participating, but we've continued to pay for the dance studio and for
Hmm.
theater because those are really important programs and we
Yeah.
don't want them to go under because they're not getting a revenue right now.
Hmm.
And then like locally, we've been getting all of our groceries from Grow.
Hmm.
We go into the store once a week. We also have them deliver, and
Hmm.
they were, I mean, gosh, they were essential at the beginning of this. I feel like they set the bar for how grocery shopping should be, on how to stay safe, how to keep their employees safe, how
Hmm.
to keep their customers safe. And they were maybe out of food for a day and a half. They constantly had new shipments coming in and were changing their protocol, just to help consumers. And
Hmm.
you want to keep a business like that around.
Yeah.
So we were helping them. We bought some books from Pages where we called in. They've set the books aside for us and left them outside the door. We've
Hmm.
gone to pick those up. We haven't done really. We did take out once in the very beginning,
Hmm.
but because we have so many food allergies and we consider ourselves immune compromised,
Hmm.
we decided it was safer if we just did all of our cooking at home. So we really have just been buying the food and buying the food and then assembling it and preparing it at home.
Hmm.
Um, and then otherwise, we've been donating to a lot of charities, but some of the charities that have come to us have been through local businesses that we would be attending. Like I do yoga at Yoga Works, and they sent out a big email saying we're trying to raise money for all of the instructors
Yeah.
that we don't regularly pay. They get like a stipend, I think, from practicing there. So we contributed to that,
Hmm.
and just I don't know, $10 here, $10 there. My
Hmm.
husband's on Zoom calls once a week with some business people that are raising money for Elmhurst Hospital in New York,
Yeah.
and they were raising money for the United Way, and those are just sort of bigger,
Hmm.
um, going beyond the local.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, we adopted a puppy in the first 3 days.
Hmm.
So, so we still are active with that.
Hmm.
We've been working with our vet, so we're supporting the vet through
Hmm.
taking care of the puppy, and we've been going to um, Pet Foods Market, which is
Hmm.
next door to Grow, and buying all of our food from them and all as
Hmm.
many supplies as we can get from them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then we have had to order a couple times from Amazon. We try
Yeah.
not to, but and especially in the beginning when you couldn't get toilet paper and
Right.
Bounty, that kind of stuff, hydrogen
Yeah.
peroxide. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So,
So, why do you feel it's important to continue supporting these small businesses?
oh gosh, well, I don't want the landscape of our local economy to change,
Right.
and you know, 4 to 6 weeks of no business and no revenue, and then I think that see, okay, I don't know enough about this, but I believe that our government has put a hold on their rental fees.
Hmm.
So a lot of places don't have to pay the rent, which is
Yeah.
great. But then, we have a jewelry store that we love in Hermosa Beach,
Hmm.
and They don't have to pay the rent, but they have to pay insurance on everything
Right.
that's in the store, right? In
Mhm.
case something were to happen. And the insurance alone is
Oh,
crazy. So
yeah.
they just told me they have until May 15th, and then they have to think about shutting their doors for good.
Wow.
Um, so that's another way.
Yeah.
It was our 20th anniversary, and
Mhm.
instead of going out to dinner or going on a trip, I got a nice piece of jewelry.
That's
So,
always nice.
and I feel better about that because we did support our local businesses.
Exactly.
I mean, I've known these women, oh my gosh, since Charlotte was born for
Mhm.
16 years. So they've become friends, and
Mhm.
I really want them to stay in business. So,
Mhm. So currently, the government has been providing loans for small businesses,
mhm.
and these big major companies like Amazon, Shake Shack for a little bit, stuff like that. They have been going and getting loans through loopholes, and that's leaving no money for the small businesses. So it's really, really hard right now for small businesses to get loans because there's just no money. When I talked to Linda at Pages, she's
Mhm.
on the business committee. She said none of like I think there was 5 stores or something from Manhattan Beach. None of them have been able to get a loan yet.
Oh.
So, how do you feel about that?
Oh, ah, does my face say it all? That's horrible. I
Mhm.
mean, Amazon should not be on it at all. What was the and Shake Shack?
Well,
Well, I
Shake
always
Shack,
think of them as local, but they're a chain, right?
they apparently they took 10,000 and then they gave it back. But the whole thing is like, why did they take 10,000? Because you were taking that away from small businesses when it
Yeah,
could have gone like directly to them.
yeah. No, I think well, I just think that's horrible, right? I
Mhm.
mean, but that's part of the problem with the whole situation right now is
Mhm.
that there isn't enough information out there. There aren't enough programs to help everybody. And we're all just sitting around waiting and wondering what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
fortunately, our local government and our state government seem to be
Mhm.
stepping up and running things. So I'm really proud of California right now.
Yeah. I think California definitely seems better than like I mean, there's other places where they're considering opening up stuff because that's
Mhm,
their way of helping the economy, but it's just, it's the amount of people that will go to these and how it could so horribly like come to a fault that so
mhm.
many people could get contaminated and bad.
Well, I was just talking to my girlfriend this morning, who is a lobbyist, an attorney lobbyist
Mhm.
in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
And right now they're talking about opening the casinos on May 20th and
Wow.
trying to figure out, it's the same problem if you think about it. It's
Mhm.
their local economy. That is how that state gets their money. It's how they're
Mhm.
run. And so obviously you don't want, even though those are massive businesses, you don't want those to run into the ground either. But May 20th feels like way too soon to me,
Yeah.
um, to practice social distancing in a casino. I'm not sure what kind of message that sends.
I don't know why, but when you say casino, that made me think of like Ozark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Marty Bird and Wendy Bird. That's their problem.
I feel like those casinos might be safer. There's a whole lot
Yeah.
fewer people there. If you open up Vegas, think about, everybody just starting to head there and
Yeah.
uh,
Okay, so how have you seen people positively and negatively react to like with the pandemic in association to small businesses? Like what like good things have you seen people do? What bad things?
well, when we adopted our puppy, we did it purely for us. We thought, oh gosh, we really want a second dog. This timing couldn't be any better. We're going to be locked in the house for a few weeks. It's the perfect time to start training a puppy. But
Mhm.
then I started hearing story after story of how everybody has kind of been thinking the same thing, and that the shelters are empty,
Uh-huh.
that there aren't dogs to adopt or as many. And that just warmed my heart. That made me
Yeah.
feel so happy because, connecting with an animal is so good for the soul.
Mhm.
And and right now that's really really important. I think people need happiness, and they need a healthy distraction, right? And
Yeah.
so I love that. um Trying to think of what else. I love these calls that my husband is on that are raising money for all of the different charities. And um I just like hearing that people are out helping. Trying to
Mhm.
think of what else. Kindness is a big deal. People are talking and acknowledging each other. And I hear story after story of this neighbor buying groceries and taking it to their neighbor next door
Mhm.
who's really in that age range that is worried. And
Mhm.
the elderly. Stories like Grow, opening up an hour early so that the
Mhm.
age 60 to whatever can go in early before everybody else is there. I just think there's been a lot of thoughtfulness, and that is
Yeah.
great.
It's also like
Go ahead.
oh, just like a really good like bit togetherness, you know? I think people are really unifying more than they would have before.
Yeah, isn't that so interesting, right? That we are all separate, but
Yeah.
that it does feel like we're coming together on our thinking.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Although then on the other hand, I walk around the neighborhood and I see neighbors social distancing and
Right.
not really doing it. They're really close.
Mhm.
So then you wonder, and I do hear stories about people that are still out there partying and not worrying about it, and I think that is sad,
Yeah.
putting the rest of us at risk that we're all doing the work. So.
That's where it's even sad. Like I know at Miracosta right now, all the ASB elections are going on,
Mhm.
and I've seen at least 2 videos where a bunch of ASB kids got together to like promote themselves, and they were all, if you're wearing masks, that's great, but you can't be right next to each other. They even were like touching each other, and
Oh,
it's kind of like it's frustrating to see that like this is your way of trying to promote yourself, that you care more about promoting yourself to get some president or vice president than to actually be safe and do what the rest of the world is doing right now. So
yeah. Yeah, that is disheartening. Did
mhm.
you see, there was a band video that came out that was so
Yeah,
cool. Oh my
it was
god!
so
It
cool.
was so great. That totally warmed my heart and made me happy.
I loved how he did like the multiple like versions of himself. I was like
Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant editing, great
yeah.
film work, but then also the sound was incredible, and
Mhm.
they still were distant. They were all in their different little rooms doing
Yeah,
their thing, and I thought that was great.
it was
But
really cool.
one of the things that I have been enjoying, I feel like now that some of the information is disseminated a little bit more, and we
Mhm.
know, oh, if you sit outside and you're 6 to 10 feet apart,
Yeah.
I think that human contact and conversation,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's so important. It's like being out in the sun and getting the natural vitamin D. You need that. And
Yeah.
the Zoom calls just don't do it. Right? You
No.
can do that for so long, but you really need to be face to face at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling, and that's where, like, as I know, like, I walked over to your guys' house and we stayed 6 feet apart, and I've been trying to do that with friends,
Yeah.
um, because, yeah, it's really just different, just seeing, just being near each other, and,
Mhm.
it's good, like, I miss you guys, and I miss my friends, miss Shar, but, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good to get some more,
You
real
need to be
time.
out. Like we'd only done it once before you and your mom came over.
Mhm.
And so then this week I was like, okay, 2 other days. I'm going to go visit a friend
Yeah,
tomorrow and then another, because you just need it. You need human
yeah,
contact,
definitely,
in person human contact.
yes. This is and also to see your, adorable puppy.
Yeah.
So this
Very
is
true.
kind of one last question summing it up, but do you think people should support small businesses?
Yes. Very, very, very important. I
Mhm,
Why do I think? Well, I think it breaks down to supporting people, right?
mhm,
Supporting human kindness. I mean, yes, they provide services that are essential to us,
mhm.
but they're people providing those. And
Yeah,
I know maybe I talk too much. Probably I do. But I just find that on most of my businesses, I really love the people that run those
mhm,
businesses. I know a lot about them, and I would hate for something to happen to their families. And
mhm.
so, yeah, so in any way that we can support them, I'd like to do that. But it is hard to find ways besides giving money right now, right? Like
Yeah,
buying things, giving money. And then that's a hard part because everybody else's jobs are also put on hold.
right.
So I think everybody needs to do what they can do. We
Mhm,
all know, ooh, there's a word that I love from my nutrition studies, bio-individual.
mhm,
We all know what's right for us and what we can do, and it's going to be unique to each individual.
mhm.
I
It's a
like
great
that.
way to put it.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. This is really helpful.
You are welcome. Happy almost birthday.